Let's get this figured out. This world gon' give me whatever I need until I get this vision out. Then they gon' pay me whatever I ask, cause I got it figured out. Family be checking all up on a nigga to see how I'm feeling now. Damn, they love to see a nigga really make a killing now. I put a lock on the game and I hide the code and the keys. I am not playing no games, I really play this shit for keeps. That shit for me.
MaddenHeadz YouTube, what's going on? It is your boy Coach DC coming back at you today with another video. And good question this morning is my preference for my sub linebacker packages do I use linebackers or safeties? And honestly, I try to do a one of one. Like, I try to take my most athletic linebacker and put him in there, and then I'll probably go with that maybe man-to-man safety or whatever. And that linebacker, normally if I'm blitzing, you know, with that linebacker, normally I want that linebacker, the most athletic linebacker, hopefully it'll be high in finesse moves. I'll normally have him as the guy that's normally blitzing, and then I'll use it with the other guy. But from a response standpoint, one thing I can't complain about the game anymore is about like user control, because I know user control used to be a little slow for some people, and like I said, we all have different experiences playing the game. But now, I mean, not just in Ultimate Team. Again, I always go back. I'm going back to the press stuff, because you're able to play press man. Your user is even that much more important. And so we actually just talked about this. I don't know if maybe a few days ago, a week ago, or whatever. The toggling thing or changing speeds. I think go back and look at that video. But from a defensive standpoint, changing speeds. Moving the stick, I remember like back in the day, you could just move the stick and you didn't really have to really accelerate a whole lot or decelerate. You know what I'm saying? It was more of how you were able to move the stick. This game, and now I guess with these next gen, current gen, whatever places, you can now like do things with your user like that. I can, you know what I'm saying? It's not as hard to stop the user as it used to be, or as it used to appear to be. And I say appear to be because if you were toggling back then, you could still do the same thing. You can go back, watch some of my old videos. And so for me playing in space, like right here, watch me play in space, watch a little hesitation, watch me go underneath that route to not get caught up in it. Yeah, I have the guy, that was my man running that corner route out there, but I had that safety out there who was in close enough proximity, which allowed me a little bit of freedom to be able to kind of just lurk, as opposed to just playing the guy that I was supposed to be playing. A lot of cases, like I said, I'll play press man, and if I'm at the line and I see something else, I'm gonna peel off of the, you know, what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm a football player. Yeah, I just said that while I'm playing video games, right? But you know what I'm saying? You have to have football instincts at a certain point where you're following the trail of the ball, or where you see things getting open at. And so, you know what I'm saying? You just have to have instincts. You know, you can't just play. You can play your assignment. Now, trust me when I tell you, you must play your assignment. But like here, my assignment is the deep curl flat. I have my curl flats at 20. So actually, if he had threw that wheel route, he might have got that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I had enough momentum built up to make a play on that. I probably had to swat it. But because he was going to that route right there, that was my natural progression of where I was supposed to be anyway. You see what I'm saying? And so you have to understand your zones or whatever your assignments are in the defenses that you are, even if you're switch sticking. You know what I'm saying? And just generally just playing as a user. I'm supposed to be playing this middle read spot. So watch me drift to that route, turn around and come back. And that's where the toggling thing comes into play, because I had to use a lot of L2 and change of direction in order to do that, smoothly. Because otherwise, you're going to kind of clunk out and not be able to recover. And so just look at the twist and the turns that I'm doing right there with Nitschke. And it's the same deal. Just unfortunately, I guess, did not make the play for whatever reason. But it's like, wherever you are, you have to play your spot, but you have to be able to stop and turn around. And that's where the use of the L2 and R2 comes into play, and what you're doing with the stick. And so again, it can be difficult to stop at times, but if you really understand it, again, that toggling thing is gonna put you in a position to where once you see the spot on the ground, you see the ball coming, you should be able to stop yourself, really. And it shouldn't really be that hard, to be honest with you. I'm sure a lot of my guys, they've kind of figured this out, with the mechanics and stuff. And so it's just turning your hips. It's not really all that complicated. It's just not just the stick. It's about how you stop and start, and basically how you change speeds and directions. Your ability to do that and read the routes, also at the same time. And so a lot of times in order to get the interceptions, especially if you're playing somebody who's making decent to good reads, you don't want to arrive too early in the spot. You want to make it look like you're doing something else, with your user. Now that I'm using the press coverage thing, it's really about getting the good press, and then, being able to just play in space. Sometimes you might not get the good press. Sometimes it may be like a cheat motion route or something of that effect, to where you may have to move, because a lot of times if you're clicked onto that guy and they start the cheat motion, the guy won't move, so you'll manually have to run in that spot. But you see, as I was able to do, I played the whole way. I played I played the receiver as I was supposed to play him. You know what I'm saying? I didn't come off, I didn't cheat, I didn't look at another route. I just went and played the position I was supposed to play. And of course I didn't get the pick, because they just don't feel I'm worthy of getting picks. But you know what I'm saying? Once you start the switch stick and stuff, if you can play that initial route, like I said, what the switch sticking will allow you to do is play two different routes. Like, it's like I could jam that first guy, take away, the timing on his slant, and then switch off, to cover that deeper middle post or whatever that's coming. And then at that point, that's where most Madden players will crumble, or at least try to run the quarterback. Anyway, man, I appreciate each and every one of you guys.